1 second, guys. Something going wrong here on my end. I am directly there with you. Horrible, horrible, horrible when I start a stream and it doesn't go straight away my way. So, but now we are good to go. So, guys, this is not a normal dip. Bitcoin is holding on to the $29,000 level by a thread. But the lack of a real bounce here is what's worrying me a lot. So because every past cycle at this level we saw aggressive buying, but yet now absolutely nothing. In this video I explain you why there has no bounce happened yet and what needs to happen that we reclaim the $94,000 level. Let's go. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in here again today. Sorry that I was yesterday not here. We jumped directly in today's content. So first of all, I want to explain you guys why we saw yesterday a short-term bounce back to the upside. And the reason for this was that Nvidia had higher than expected earning numbers again. So it's basically happening, I think the last 6 quarters or even more than that. They had always higher than expected earnings, and that led to a market-wide pump across the board, you know, so in stocks, crypto, everywhere, everything pumped yesterday. But today we retraced back to the downside, and one of the reasons for this is that now the outlook for a potential rate cut dropped to below 30% for December. So once that became public knowledge and spread across the internet, Bitcoin started plumping again, and we went down to the $88,000 mark, all the way down there. So, but there is a way bigger problem here right now, potentially not only threatening Bitcoin, but all global liquid markets. And I have seen this a couple of days ago, and I was waiting for the right moment when I should talk about this, because also takes a little preparation, you know, with research and stuff. So, but there's a huge problem right now in Japan going on, again with the Nikkei. And the problem is that in Japan, and I did not know this until I researched that, I will be completely honest. So in Japan, the 0% interest on loans was not only fueling companies within Japan, but also lenders outside of Japan. So this is the crazy part. So this 0% interest rate loan that you could get in Japan was used to buy treasury, as an example, treasury bills in the US and all sorts of things, stocks, crypto, currencies, and even countries were borrowing from Japan at 0% interest. So think about European Union, think about the US, think about Israel and all the other countries. There is a huge liquidity bubble right now that is about to burst when Japan decides on their Fed meeting to hike rates. So if they start now to, or they basically continue, they hike now one time, if they keep hiking rates, the whole global liquidity market will start to see again big cracks. I just want to remind you what last time happened when the Nikkei massively crashed to the downside. Everything crashed. Everything, absolutely everything. So, and this is here potentially happening again if in the next Japanese Fed meeting they decide that they're gonna continue to hike rates because they cannot give money out anymore on a 0% interest rate because they are struggling now themselves financially. So, and somewhere needs the money to come from to fit the bill that they have to pay by themselves, you know. So, and if they start charging too much interest on the loans that they have given out, then the people that took the money, or the governments and the companies that took the money, they will default on their payments. So, and if they default, then if you can like put one-on-one together, that is a huge problem in the global markets, and that is looming right now above us. But it's not like a 100% thing that this is going to happen. I just want to show you what could be here the worst case scenario and what could potentially start the real bear market here because I think this might be the thing that is going to kick off the real bear market. So this doesn't have to happen now next month when they have their meeting. Like I said, they can decide that they are not doing anything, that they're not hiking, not reducing, and they just say we pause anything, and then in 3 months from now they're gonna look again what they're gonna do, you know. So or like in 2 months, 3 months, whenever they want to do that. Yeah, so that is a huge problem right now. So, and like I said, once this is unwinding, I think it will be not US related that we start the bear market. I think this is the thing that we need to be careful with at the end of the cycle. So, but of course, the moment that it happens, you know the cycle is over. You know, so when this thing implodes, you know for 100% that's the start of the bear market. Now, when we are looking on the other hand back to the US, what I want to show you here is now the other side of things. So, and this is when we would see that now next month QT is stopping, and then the effect that an end of QT has on Bitcoin in correlation. So, and you can see this here really beautifully. So here in 2019, we stopped QT, and then we started QE, and afterwards you see here that massive spike to the upside when we increased the balance sheet, and Bitcoin had a delayed reaction and went then also to the upside. So here, and also look here, prior to that QT ending, same thing, price declined. Now price is again declining just before that. So, and here historically, we should get a delayed reaction here somewhere in February, March, where Bitcoin starts to run back to the upside. Again, a lot of other things have to fall in place for this, but this is the other side of the scenario that I'm seeing here, with QT ending, QE potentially starting, and then and the stimulus checks coming in the second quarter of 2026, and that will then fuel the continuation of this whole run for Bitcoin to the upside. Now, on the other hand, if we trust here the profit-taking cycles theory and think that we are still in a 4-year cycle, then we should have taken profit at $116,000 and should have gotten out. You know, so that was like where the profit cycle stopped and where we should have started to basically sell all our positions. For now, you would have done really well with this if you would have done that, and could have bought back at current prices if you think that we are actually now seeing a different cycle, and that's my thesis, that we are going that we are in a different cycle. And this here, it's, I would not say it's really broken, but it will definitely mess with the algo behind this when we go back up here, because of everything else that happened this year and last year that that effectively is changing, in my opinion, the whole structure of the 4-year cycle, and is giving us more time in that bull cycle. So, and if this thesis is right, which we're going to find out here shortly, you know, really quickly, then we continue to go up, and then I'm wondering what's happening here. You know, if we get here a new green plot straight away, you know, and there was a super shortened correction based on the cycle, and this here is then basically completely a false signal, you know. So, but for now, it is an amazing signal. If you've just followed this here with the profit cycle, would have taken profit here, yeah, until like 4 weeks ago approximately. Then something else that that we also need to take into consideration is the fear and greed index. And every single time when we were at such low levels that we are seeing currently, oh wait, oh no, this is okay, that we are seeing here currently, then just let's have a look here. So we are currently here. Ah, come on. Okay, I'll go away. So we are at 10. So that is extreme fear. The other times when we were at extreme fear, like over here in March, come on, come all the way down here. There, I think I'm all the way down. No, it's neutral. This is horrible. There, so all the way down. So there we were also at 10. but Bitcoin was trading at $84,000 shortly after, a day later, I think. How many days later? So here, 27. Yeah, 2 days later, Bitcoin started to go back to the upside after we hit 10. So here we have potentially another day or two where Bitcoin needs to finally move to the upside. If Bitcoin is not doing this by latest Monday, because we are running now into a weekend again, latest Monday, we are not back at like key support that is potentially now acting as resistance, we are flipping this back into support by Monday, then I think the chances are highly increasing that we are going into a really extended correctional phase here for Bitcoin that could go as low as $77,000. So, because I think here, this level all the way down here, yeah, here. This here is a strong support line from the past. And this is what we're looking at if Bitcoin cannot come up here by Monday and be around $97,000, $98,000. It does not even have to be $100,000, but $97,000, $98,000 is what we need. And we need this to be happening in the best case scenario in one single daily candle. That would show that bulls are stepping in and now starting to defend price and defend the uptrend for continuation to the upside. Because if nobody is stepping in from the bulls in this time frame, then, like I said, extended, excruciating downwards continuation. So, but don't get me wrong, we're gonna get relief bounces here to the upside that will make it look like that we are potentially going back up, but they're gonna get sold off again, and then overall you're gonna see here something like this, bam, and only then back to the upside from there. So, but this will also not be like a crazy big candle, you know, so like we're not something like this. We'll most likely then run down here, do something like this, and then slowly come back up here. At some point you're gonna get a candle like this here to the upside. So, but then again, slowly continuation. So just to lay out all the possibilities that are right now on the table here that we need to take into consideration if Bitcoin fails in the next 4 days to reclaim here key support. And the first sign of that we're potentially not doing this is if we lose the 0.618 on the weekly chart, the yellow box where we tested now the bottom of it, which is fine, absolutely fine. There's no problem with testing the bottom range, but we need to reclaim now the downward sloping trend line of that falling wedge pattern. And this has to happen latest, like I said, by Monday with the opening of the new weekly candle. That has to be straight away a big push to the upside and reclaiming the $95,000 level. That's what is currently the price there. So, and at the same time, you want to see on the weekly chart that here the stochastic RSI, let me pull this up a little bit that you can see this, is putting in a buy signal, because we are already here in oversold conditions on the stochastic RSI, but no buy signal yet. So we need this buy signal also coming in with the next weekly close, which is in 3.5 days, to put buy pressure on Bitcoin to push us into higher price levels. On here, this chart, again, you see here how accurate the levels are that I have given you guys here over the last couple of days, where I said here, this line here is line in the sand. That line needs to be at all costs to be defended when we come down here, because if we lose this line, bear market territory to the downside, to the bear market bottom, or potentially even a little bit below that. So here, this is like the buffer range for this. So for now, we have defended this also with a substantial bounce, but it's for me not substantial enough to have enough confidence right now in Bitcoin that we are going to see a continuation to the upside. Again, for the first major sign for this would be a reclaim of the monthly key support here of $93,400 approximately. So if we can reclaim that already, again, in the next 4 days, early good sign for continuation. If we are not managing to do that, big problem. Then also here, the golden ratio was here retested. Also absolutely fine with a retest. The RSI is turning around here, also on the weekly chart. So, but here we need also to see a proper turnaround. Like I said, bulls need to step in here, start defending, and also push price back into the EMA ribbon to the mid-range over the next 2 weeks to $102,000, $103,000 approximately, to get here any kind of continuation. So, and even if we move up here, what you also need to see afterwards is a continuation candle that pushes above the EMA ribbon. So that would be another 5% move. So that means like in the next 2 weeks, we need to see like a 10% move from Bitcoin to the upside. Actually, it's more. It's from current prices, like a 20% move that we're gonna need to see from Bitcoin in the next 2 weeks. So it's not that we never have seen something like this, but again, this has to happen fairly quickly to, yeah, sustain the current uptrend without losing the uptrend and going into an extensive, excruciating downwards correction that will most likely last for 2 or 3 months. So I don't want to do this, you know. So I'm not saying altcoins cannot run in this time, at least some of them, but for Bitcoin it will be really bad. It will. The only good thing about this is you will have a really nice time DCAing into your spot position, you know. So I would not try to open long positions on the way down unless I see a bottom forming somewhere, and then you can start building from there leverage positions for like swing positions, you know. On the daily chart, same thing. We today, if possible, I would like to see here a close above $92,000. That here on the daily at least we are back in that falling wedge pattern, because that could be enough to show confidence, at least a little bit confidence, that we are getting here tomorrow already a move to like $93,000, $95,000, even if it's only all the way up here to that now resistance level of $95,700, and from there getting a small rejection before we then over the weekend or by Monday break out and go higher. So because don't kid yourself. Once we're breaking out of that falling wedge here, the breakout will be violent. So that will be a really strong candle going to the upside, because we are in here since the beginning of October. So now 6 weeks already. 6 weeks of consolidation here in this compressed falling wedge pattern. And once that is popping, it's going to pop big. On the 4-hourly chart with the MDX algo scalp gradients, so here we got now a third take profit signal and finally a bullish divergence. So this is usually the proper sign that we are ready to go back to the upside when you get the bullish divergence here on the reactor indicator and you have to take profit signal. So, and I said last time when we were here, I said this is potentially the bottom, or we are really close to it. So, and yeah, now I think for the time being, and I want to be cautious about this, but this can be potentially now the local bottom here. So potentially, I'm not 100% convinced yet, unless we are breaking here this cell cluster that's above us, and that is where is it? At $92,500 to $93,700. So I want to see Bitcoin break above this, and when we do this, then I'm confident to come out and say, okay, this down here, that was now the local bottom. We are not coming back down here. So, but only then. So, but that does not mean that you could have not taken the trade here that I had given, you know. So, but currently you would not be like in massive profits. You would be here like 0.5% in profit plus leverage. So even if you use 20x, you would be up 10%, which is not that bad, but it's also not crazy, you know. So, and if we come back down here to that entry level, I would take the chance to take the trade from there, you know. So because the risk to reward ratio is definitely good here on this trade setup overall. I'm gonna show that to you here really quickly again. Yeah, here 1 to 5, it's only a 1% stop loss, so against almost 6% profit to the upside. So you can take this trade 3 times to try to take this trade here 3 times before I would stop to try this, because even if you only get it right on the 4th time with the same amount of leverage every single time, the 4th time it will pay, you know. So there's no issue with taking the trade 3 times and getting stopped out, and then the 4th time is then the one where it actually goes. and you still end up with profit. That's why you're always looking at good risk to reward ratios, that you have the possibility to get multiple times stopped out and still then make money if it goes then into the desired direction. So, and if you want to take that trade, guys, I still have my new trade running here on Weex. As you can see, I trade mainly on Weex here all the time. So this trade is here like, what is underwater? 1% underwater actually from my entry. I'm not that far away, 1.5% away from my entry, and so not insanely far away here. So if you want to trade on Weex, guys, you know the drill. Sign up. Let me actually, can I move this here a little bit? There, yeah. So sign up on Weex with the link in the description. If you bind your email address and your phone and download the app, you get immediately $400 credited into your account. You get an additional $400 if you deposit $500. And not only that, you will also get access to my private Telegram group where we are absolutely killing it. Remember the Esther trade here from 2 days ago. I sent a new trade today into the group, so that's why I cannot give you an updated screenshot, because there's a fresh trade right now running. So, and yeah, the steps how to enter that group is in the description. Either you sign up on Weex or you do it on Tapit. If you cannot use Weex, that's also absolutely fine if you sign up there. And if you cannot reach me on Telegram, then amcryptoalex at Twitter or info@amcrypto.us. But don't just, I have people all the time, guys. So I want to mention this now really quickly, because it happens every single time when I tell you guys to sign up there. Don't just click on the link to try to join the Telegram group. It's not working, you know. So we check by hand if you signed up or not with the exchange teams, you know. So, and if we see you did not sign up and you did not reach out, on top of that, really important, you need to reach out, you will not get in. You know, we're gonna decline your attempt, your request to enter the group. We will not message you, nothing, we will just decline you, you know. And I have people that tried now multiple times where I actually know they did not sign up. I banned them. They can never do it again, you know. So if you want in, do it the proper way, you know. Follow the steps in the description. Send a message with your UID, and then it's fine, you know, then you get in. But don't just blindly click the link to join the Telegram group because it's in the description, because we will never let you in, you know, never, unless you follow the steps. It's not much what we're asking for, you know. So yeah, so just something that I want to mention in here, because it happens every single day. So now, liquidation levels. Liquidation levels, there is a little bit over leveraged long liquidity here below us from that $88,000 move here to the downside, but not enough, in my opinion, that we should get a retest of this level now. But again, above us, I don't need to explain you this, because we have talked about this on and on and on. There, the only majority of the liquidity is above us, and I don't see why like market makers and hedge funds with their algos would push Bitcoin lower, because there is nothing to gain for them, you know. So besides buying cheap Bitcoin, you know. So, but they're not even buying. So then that's the other big issue here. So, and the imminent push to the upside that I see here is the 50 moving average, $95,400. But for this, we need to break short term $93,700. So here you see again why $93,700 is one of the key levels that we need to break. And to be honest, that was the reason why I took the trade here on Weex, because in that moment we were on the way to break that level, and then we got rejected and came back down, you know. So again, game of probabilities, you know. The more often you try, the higher the chance that you're going to succeed eventually. And I have no problem with writing this out, because like I said, I still believe that there is a bigger bounce coming for Bitcoin to the upside. So, and in the worst case, I can just get out of my position then, you know, like worst case, if things really go for the worst, and we just go up like to 94, and it's like a fake breakout and a bull trap, then I would just close the trade, you know. So that's like the worst I think that can happen here. Now, in terms of the liquidation levels, also here we see clearly huge clusters building above current price action. So here $94,000, 93,700 again. There it's actually starting all the way up to $94,150. So this here is short squeeze territory. So if we are managing to get into this area here, short squeeze, that short squeeze will get us to 95,100 approximately. So then if we can form here support and push higher, then here this big cluster will get liquidated all the way up to like $98,500 approximately. So then after that, we would get another short squeeze in direction of $100,000. So, but all these short squeezes, they can only happen if now bulls finally step in and starts pushing price up. Oh wow, again 25 minutes here. So the Bitcoin dominance got a bounce from the 59% level. Not really surprising. But overall, I still see this here breaking to the downside, and that is going to happen regardless what Bitcoin is doing. You know, so even if Bitcoin would now break further down, yes, we get then a little bit more of a bounce here. But once Bitcoin starts going sideways, then the dominance will break, and you get continuation to the downside, which will give us opportunity to make some money on altcoins. Unfortunately, you cannot buy altcoins right now and just hold them, because I see it every single day. Here, this looks green, but when I look at the price between 2 days ago or yesterday and today, the price is lower, and it's just because it went so much down over the last 1 day, 2 day, and opened then today freshly. For the day, it's up 5%, you know. So, but this is not what I personally look at. I look at, did this coin move over the last week into positive territory, you know, so price-wise, not because percentage doesn't really matter if the price is still down, you know. So it's only nice if you day trade, but you cannot basically hold something now for a week or two and expect to get like a nice return on that, and that's an issue. That's why you need to be really selective what you're currently trading. When it comes to USDT dominance, so here we got a spike again over 6% yesterday. Nothing has really changed here. We need the USDT dominance to break below 5.9% and start moving to the downside, massively to the downside, and break here this upward sloping trend line when we are coming down. So if that's not happening and the USDT dominance keeps moving here like this, then the next level that the USDT dominance will run into to the upside, and that would be really bad, will be a 6.5. And around 6.5, Bitcoin will be like at 84 approximately. 84, yeah, like 84, $82,000 if that's happening. So that's why I'm saying we don't want to see this. The total free market cap still below this downward sloping trend line. The W formation here has not changed yet. It's still a W. But also here we need that break above the downward sloping trend line to see here alts really moving price-wise and not only percentage-wise. Ethereum, here we hit the bottom again of this falling broadening wedge. And we are getting closer here, guys, you know, and that's why I said you need maybe to be patient here with this trading setup, but we're getting closer to it. Every single time when we drop, we're getting closer to it. So I still have my limit orders down here, guys, you know, so if you want to take this trade here, because eventually, if Bitcoin dips another time below 88, I think that will then cause Ethereum to actually tap this. I might raise just a little bit the entry. I'll give you here, because I saw another. Don't ask me why I saw this level here today. But here, this area here is where I have currently my limit orders to enter. Actually, also here. So this area here, that starts at 2,720 all the way up to 2,780. There I have all my limit orders currently stacked for this trade setup. So, and the lower we go here, the bigger the orders. So you want, when you trade something like this, you want to have here like an inverted pyramid. No, actually a proper pyramid. So kind of like here. This. So when price comes down, the lower we go, the bigger is your order that you enter. So, and like this, you get a really, really good average price. And once Ethereum starts to move out of this area here, back to the upside, here you're already massive in profit. Now, Solana broke out of that falling, broadening wedge. And that's why I tell you all the time, Solana is the front runner of the market. So Solana did it first. Now Ethereum should follow suit. You know, there is also another, I think Dogecoin was today the other one that's also close to it. Yeah. So here, Dogecoin is the other one that's about to do it. So just go back here for a second to Solana. So here Solana, current price level, good for would be, under different circumstances, a good moment to enter. Here, currently, I would wait a little bit, because I don't like how the stochastic and the MACD are looking, even though the RSI is still, yeah, just entered bullish territory, basically. And let's see on the daily. From a daily perspective, I would enter this, to be honest. So if we close the daily above $141, I would consider entering this when we are breaking this downward sloping trend line. Or if we come here all the way down to $139 one more time, that is the other scenario where I would enter this. And then you trade this with tight stops. Let's say here at the break of this trend line, with tight stops, you trade this to $154.89, which is basically a 10%, yeah, almost like a 9.5% move to the upside. And you have here like a 2% stop loss on this, roughly. So, and then you still have a 1 to 4 risk to reward ratio, absolutely fine. So, but only if we break this downward sloping trend line or hit the bottom here, and then you basically have more profit on the way up. And then adjust the stop loss, of course, accordingly, again, to like 2%. So let's talk about Doge really quickly. So Doge is breaking out of this falling broadening wedge right now. So here you want to wait for a reclaim of 15 cents 0.9 for continuation. Otherwise, it looks like that we are rolling over first a little bit. Come back down here, consolidate, and then you get the proper break. And the proper break will go straight above the 15.9 cent level. So here, if we fall lower, then at 14 cents 0.9 is where I have currently limit orders, because it looks like if we could potentially roll over here. But yeah, if not, then I would enter from here and trade this to like 17 cents. So guys, I have to run again. We're here 31 minutes again, like way too long. I need to find a way to cut this closer. And I think if I have the time next week, I'm gonna start to do 2 streams again. 2 streams. That's at least the idea. Thank you so much for being here again, guys, and for watching. Don't forget, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I see you with a still intact portfolio tomorrow.